Today we are working on identifying how people are feeling based on their body language. And we'll also be working on solving problems. So let's take a look at a picture. You see there are 4 characters there. How do you think each person is feeling in this picture? They're expressing emotions, aren't they? I want you to tell how each one feels and how facial clues and body language helped you figure it out. So go ahead and take a moment and do that. So let's start with him here. It seems like he's really interested. He feels happy. Seems like he's enjoying himself. What tells me that is that he sort of has a pleasant look on his face. He's looking at the book. Seems like he might be sharing information with the others. This girl here seems um, a little annoyed. The body language that tells me that is that she has her hands on her neck, kind of maybe massaging her neck, feeling a little tense. She's not looking at the boy here, who seems to be really interested. She's sort of looking away. You can kind of see her eyes are kind of closed, and she just seems really annoyed. Maybe a little frustrated. This girl here, I feel like she's thinking that she's bored. Um, it seems like she's uninterested. You can tell because she's not looking at the boy over here who seems to be sharing about his story. She has her hand under her chin. She's looking away. Her body is even turned away. Can you see that? And this boy over here, he seems bored. You can tell because his hands are on his face. Right? Look at that. He has a look of even disgust, where he's just so disgusted at what's happening. Now, you guys might have different answers because when you're reading body language, each one of us might have a little bit of a different opinion. But as long as you're kind of on the right track with saying that these 3 seem bored and unhappy and he seems to be pleasant and in a good mood, then I'd say you're on the right track. I'm going to read a story and then I'll ask you some questions about it. Harry is obsessed with the Amaze comic book series. It's all he ever talks about. Harry's friends don't want to hurt his feelings, but they don't want to talk about comics all the time. Harry got his allowance last night and just bought the new issue of Amaze. He's excited to show his friends. Okay. What do you think Harry might be saying in this picture? Go ahead and say it aloud. What do you think? Yeah, if you said something like, hey guys, I want to show you this new comic book, then I think you're on the right track. Tell me something polite that Harry's friends could say to let him know they don't want to talk about Amaze today. Now remember, something polite. Go ahead and say what you might say. If you said something like, hey Harry, let's talk about baseball today, or hey Harry, gosh, did you hear about the new Spider-Man movie? And maybe trying to change the subject. That would probably be a nice way to do it. If you came out and said, Harry, I hate Amaze comic books. Stop talking about it. Do you think that would be the best way to handle it? No, probably not, right? Even though we might not agree with someone or we might not be interested in something that someone is, we still have to be polite and still have to think about the other person's feelings. What might be some reasons that Harry's friends don't want to talk about Amaze Comics? Go ahead and answer. Well, if you said something like maybe they're not interested in comics, or maybe they've heard Harry talk about comics so much that they're kind of tired of it, then I think those would be good answers. But I'm sure you came up with some good ones too. So let's talk about the problem here. Harry has a problem, doesn't he? What's Harry's problem? Go ahead and answer. If you said something such as, Harry wants to talk about his favorite comics, but his friends don't want to listen, then I think that's a good answer. What problem could that cause? Go ahead and answer. Well, I think it could create another problem between Harry and his friends. His friends might not want to hang out with him anymore if he keeps talking about things that don't interest them. What would you do if you were one of Harry's friends? Go ahead and answer. Well, if I was one of Harry's friends, I may say something like, mm, hey, you know what? I gotta get to class, and maybe just leave. That way I can leave the situation and not hurt Harry's feelings. Some people might be a little more direct and say something in a polite way, such as, hey Harry, I know that you love Amaze Comics, and I think that's pretty cool, but I really don't like to hear about Amaze Comics. I'm not that interested in it. So, do you think we could talk about something else today? So, it's kind of up to you how you might want to handle that. But you always want to remember, try to be kind and try to think about how the other person, in this case Harry, how he might feel hearing these things. Why doesn't Harry notice that his friends aren't excited about the new issue of Amaze? Go ahead and answer. Well, if you said something about how Harry is not looking at his friends, then you're right. He's so interested in reading his book that he's not looking to see the body language of his friends. So remember, whenever we're having a conversation with someone, it's important to look at them. It's important to see if their facial expression is showing that they're not interested, or even to see if they are interested. So that's our lesson for today. Good job.